Hey guys, what's up? MurderofBirds here, and for those of you who don't notice, I am tired as hell right now. I actually pulled an all-nighter with a few of my friends who are sleeping over right now. Everyone else in my house is sleeping but me. But yeah, so this idea that I thought about amongst my friends and such, as the title of the video obviously mentions, I have come up with an anime draft, a fantasy anime draft that me and my friends have been doing on and off for a few months now. Tonight was the one we actually did a fantasy anime draft tonight. Actually, we did two, and it was so fun and it was so awesome. We started it at like midnight, and we ended up playing from like midnight to like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was so ecstatic and I was so like thrilled that it went off with like it was so freaking fun that I was like, this would be so awesome if I talked to my channel about this, if I told some viewers of it and I invited some of these my close YouTube friends who are in the anime community to come into a stream with me one night and actually play this out and see how it goes, because oh my gosh, it was so freaking fun. But anyways, this video I'm just going to be talking about the fantasy anime draft, the rules, the regulations and stuff. I have a writing on a tab that I have right here, so I'm not going to be looking at the camera, but basically this is just me breaking down my the anime draft and everything that it pertained to. But it's such a cool concept, it's such a cool idea. I really hope you guys stick around for the entirety of the video just to learn about it and see if you're intrigued, see if you're interested, if you guys want to check it out, if you want me to do a live stream of it with some of my friends in a hangout. Just let me know in the comments. Let me know about the details and everything that you took from this, and teach me and tell me how I can actually teach me how I can tweak it and make it better essentially. But anyways, so it is a fantasy anime draft, and it's mainly supposed to be very enjoyable, friendly competition, friendly bragging rights, and all that stuff. It's more, oh my gosh, it's so fun once you get into it. It has that friendly environment, that friendly aspect. Like I said, it's really about the enjoyment and the expression of anime and what you like and what it pertains to you. I will get into the format, the pick order, and those explanations later on. But I will mention that it is very well oriented with 8 players. I was playing with 7 other players, including myself, so there were 8 people in total. But anyways, we have actually done a lot of anime drafts in the past. But this one was actually very good. It was very thought out. I tweaked it a little bit here and there to where it could be a little bit more competitive on a friendly competitive level. But anyways, the fantasy anime draft is going to pertain to any anime slash manga that exists in our current world, our current reality today, is up for grabs when it comes to this this draft. And that was one of the cool concepts. There is a restriction when it comes to anime, any anime, because that is a huge pool of characters that anybody can just draft and pick and put on their team. But I will get into the intricacies and details of that. There are going to be 17 rounds, amongst which you're going to be able to pick 17 characters from any type of anime that you can think of. And if you're not really that savvy when it comes to anime, some of the anime that we used in our draft tonight, we used Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, Yu Yu Hakusho, Hunter x Hunter, One Piece, Bleach, Toriko, Fullmetal Alchemist, Inuyasha, Attack on Titan, Pokemon, and that's 11 anime right there, and those are like the really big hit animes. A lot of the animes that are critically acclaimed, still ongoing, and anybody who's into anime already knows about those. But I'm talking any anime you can think of: seasonal anime, old school anime, new school anime, current anime, anything like that. If you have information on it, if you're new to it, if you know of it, it's up for grabs. So that's one thing that I really like about this draft, is that your knowledge is pretty much your limitations, or basically your knowledge of any anime is your limitations. But one thing that I will say is, of the 17 rounds, and this was actually a pretty intriguing concept and a pretty intriguing restriction that we put, you are only allowed to choose one character per anime. Okay, one character per anime. That kind of makes it a lot more fair, I guess you want to say, in the sense that you won't be one team, one player won't be flooded with multiple characters, because that's what we thought about. We thought of, hey, Dragon Ball Z has a lot of pretty OP characters. We didn't want, majority of someone's roster picks to be all of a particular anime, whether it was a bias, whether it was their all-time favorite, whether that anime had, the best potential of characters, to outbeat the others. So we basically narrowed it down to one anime, one selection, one pick per series. So if you pick Goku from Dragon Ball Z, you can't pick any characters from Dragon Ball Z. So that's basically it. But we also divided a category list to pertain to those picks, because we just didn't want the picks to just be, oh, this is just a pick for a pick. We actually wanted to have, we wanted some depth. We wanted some, like a foundation where we can actually expand a little bit on our picks and make them meaningful instead of just favorites or anything like that. And we categorize them into 4 sections. And these 4 sections are where the playful, the friendly competition comes in, and it's probably one of the most things that I'm really intrigued on when it comes to people who want to get into it. You can play this with your friends or anything, but I'm trying to get some people that I know on the YouTube anime community in on this to see if they want to play, if they want to enjoy it, and all that stuff. But basically, these 4 categories range from roles, fighters, substitutes, and specials. Okay, so first off, we have 5 characters that are going to be chosen for role positions. Okay, the 5 role positions are Captain, Medic, Reconnaissance, Strategist, and Ace. Okay, Captain, right off the bat, the leader of the team. He is the character who displays the most, leadership, who gives his team high morale and, the drive to continue in battle and stuff like that. Medic, pretty self-explanatory, provides sustain for the team, keeps people in the fight. Reconnaissance is dealt with, gathering enemy intelligence from gathering information through observation and scouting. Strategists are the people who come through when it comes to organizing a battle plan to take out the opponent. And then your ace, I would say, is your trump card, in a sense. So those 5 picks, when you choose your 17 picks, 5 of them are going to be governed under a specific role. So when you pick your characters, you got to think, who's going to be my captain? Who's going to be my reconnaissance agent? Who's going to be my medic, etc. So and that pretty much gets you to think about what characters you're going to pick and what characters you think your opponent's going to pick, so that way you can counterpick their picks, etc. It's very intriguing, very intricate, and it's very crazy to see as it's unfolding. Next up from there, the next category we have are fighters. You're going to be choosing 5 fighters from any type of anime, like I said, 1 per series, that are going to be a squad, essentially. 5 characters that are going to be fighting up against anybody else that comes up against them, and they're going to be acting as a single unit. No one person is going to get the limelight. No one person is going to overthrow another. Whatever 5 characters you put on your roster for 5 fighters, they are going to be governed. They're going to be judged and voted on based on their single core unit functionality, I guess you want to say. They're going to be essentially focused on as a unit instead of as an individual. So that's pretty cool too. There's a ton of anime out there, shonen, seinen, that have a lot of action-oriented, battle-oriented characters. From Naruto, One Piece, Hunter, especially. A lot of current anime as well. So that's something else that I wanted to mention there. The third category is favorites/substitutes. So when you pick your initial 5 fighters, okay, mind you, none of this is in order. When you choose your characters, you choose your character and you label the title that they're going to partake in. So, for example, if it's my first pick and I'll say I pick Sasuke Uchiha as my captain, he will be placed under the captain role. It's not in any specific order. You can choose who you want to be in your fighters, in your roles, etc. So from there, we come to favorites/substitutes. Favorites is a very iffy situation. If you are set in stone that your 5 primary fighters, your 5 initial picks for fighters are going to be your fighters, then your 5 favorites are basically your favorites. Neji, for example, Neji is my favorite character in Naruto. If I hadn't already picked a Naruto character for my fighters, and I was confident in those 5 fighters, I would pick Neji to put in my favorite roster, basically to give you a little bit of a favoritism when it comes to this. I want this to be fun. I want this to be, engaging and exciting, not just all seriousness of, oh, I need to beat the shit out of my opponent's team. So that's when favorites come in. However, this is a / substitutes category as well. So when you pick your 5 initial characters, your 5 initial fighters who are going to be fighting for you, that's all great and dandy. However, you might down the road see what kind of opponents your enemy, your opponents are picking, and you might want to add some more fighters to your roster. So this is where your substitutes come in. Your substitutes will also be 5 additional fighters that you will be able to switch when it comes to picking your final 5 fighters to be voted on. So let's just say you have a 5-fighter roster already and you decide, holy snap, I didn't pick a Dragon Ball Z character. Gohan would be pretty boss. He's pretty legit. He's gone in on the series. I'll pick him, and down the road I will switch him out for one of my initial fighters. So that would be another concept that would be, that's up for grabs. That's if you decide to play around with having just 5 fighters or having a potential of 10 and then sorting them out and deciding which ones you want to represent your team. So that's mainly the first 3. That's the meat and potatoes, I guess you want to say, of the majority of the voting. The 5 roles: Captain, Medic, Reconnaissance, Strategist, Ace, 5 fighters, and then unless you decide that you want those 5 fighters for sure, you can choose 5 favorites or 5 substitutes if you want to work around, switching out some players here and there. The remaining category is a special category, and while we have 5 roles, 5 fighters, and then 5 substitutes / favorites, we have 2 very special roles, very special categories that I feel are very cool to the concept of the fantasy draft, and that is transportation and a team mascot. Now, these 2 categories are supposed to be on a lighter tone. It's supposed to be very casual, humoristic, and nothing too serious. I don't want this whole draft to be based on, oh, I need to beat my opponent, I need to, have an OP team. I want it to be pretty cool, pretty funny, pretty interesting. Like, for example, my team mascot, when I played with my friends earlier, my team mascot was Hamtaro from Hamtaro, of course. And I just thought it was funny. I'm just like, yo, a hamster represents my team as a mascot. So I thought that was pretty funny. And I really want to see, I really like the creativity. Like, we had a lot of creative picks when it came to transportation as well as team mascots. However, these 2 picks are also going to be very exclusive and reasons why they're in the special category, which I will explain. So for transportation, your characters could have, special abilities that give them transportation where they don't need to, rely on a form of transportation. However, you are acting on the entirety of your 17 picks. So when you pick a transportation, you got to think effectiveness. How is this going to work out for all of my picks that I'm choosing? You have to think of effectiveness. You also would want to take in the consideration of creativity, humor, anything that you would feel that would win you, that would help you out when it comes to the voting process, which I'll also get to in a bit. But for example, my friend picked the Colossal Titan from Attack on Titan as his transportation, which I was just like, holy shit, like that. The Colossal Titan would be really great to have for, a fighter or a form of an adversary for your opponent. But he took the route of, it's gigantic, it can carry everybody on my team, so I'll have it as a transport, which is pretty awesome too. However, when it comes to the category of transportation, that's all it pertains to. Though the Colossal Titan could fight, though the Colossal Titan could aid you in battle, when it comes to the transportation, that's all it's looked at. Same thing goes for the team mascot. Team mascot is only shown off as a mascot, as a representation, as an image to your team. So that's something else that I wanted to mention. Also, when it comes to exclusive picks, like I mentioned before, 1 character pick per series. So when you think about it, my transportation and team mascot also fall under that category. Let me give you an example. My friend Mason, for his transportation, which was pretty awesome, he chose the Nimbus Cloud from the Dragon Ball Z series. So everyone on his team got a Nimbus Cloud as a form of transportation. However, because the Nimbus Cloud is a part of the Dragon Ball Z series, he was not able to choose a Dragon Ball Z character to add to his roster. This also adds a layer of thought process when it comes to, okay, who's going to be my fighters, who is going to be my mascot, who's going to be my transportation, when am I going to pick my mascot, when am I going to pick my transportation, you know? You could choose lesser anime, you know, Dragon Ball Z, I'd rather choose a fighter over a form of transportation when it comes to Dragon Ball Z, because Dragon Ball Z has some of the most strongest characters in all of anime history. At the same time, you got to think the Flying Nimbus Cloud would be a pretty badass, pretty legit, and pretty creative form of transportation when it came to, you know, the draft as a whole or that particular category. So that's something you got to think about too. Also, you know, my friend chose 3D maneuver gear. So you also have to think of the effectiveness of it. You know, 3D maneuver gear is pretty badass. It has its strengths and it definitely has its weaknesses. So you also have to think in terms of, how does this affect my teammates? How does this affect, you know, is it efficient? Does it work in, you know, in majority of the cases that I need it to work in? Is it reliable? This, that, and the other. So those are the two things that I just wanted to bring up regarding the mascots and regarding the transportation. They are restrictive properties of anime. So if you choose, you know, like I said, if you choose 3D maneuver gear, you won't be able to choose a character from Attack on Titan. If you choose the Nimbus Cloud, you won't be able to choose a character or anything else pertaining to Dragon Ball Z. Those are just some examples. But anyways, from the voting process, we go into you know, I guess you want to say a more in-depth version of the competitive aspect, which comes to the voting process. Okay, so if you have about 8 to 10 people, which 8 people is around the amount of people that are essential for this to pretty much go off without a hitch. I played with 8 people, and we played for about, I would say, an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and a half latest. But it was very enjoyable. It was very fun. But we didn't end up doing voting. That's something that I added, like, as a tweak to make it a little bit more friendly competition. So the voting process works as follows. Once everyone has their 17 picks, once everyone has a role set out for the captain, the medic, etc., their fighters, their subs, you know, their transportation, all that stuff. Once they have all that, we will go into a voting poll. Everyone will stack up their captains together, their medics together, their reconnaissance together, and each person individually will not choose their own, but will choose another character in that category as the best of. So if people line up all 8 of the captains, everyone will be choosing and voting on who won that category, and whoever wins the category gets a point. Okay, so you'll get a point for captain, you'll get a point for medic, reconnaissance, strategist, ace. You will get a point for your 5 fighters as a single unit. Like I said, none of them will be judged on an individual basis. They will be judged as a unit if they have synergy with one another, if, you know, they're able to blow the competition out of the water, etc. So those 5 will also be judged as a unit, which is why you have your substitutes. Before we vote on fighters, if you have substitutes, that is the time where you are able to make your final 5 fighter roster to be judged and to be voted on. So that's why it would be smart to wait until, you know, you see the competition of everyone around you and their rosters, and then decide, hey, this is who I'm going to put. It might be able to counter so-and-so's pick, etc. As well as transportation and Team Mascot will also be judged as well, based on creativity, humor, effectiveness, efficiency, all of that stuff in between. So, and then at the end, whoever has the most tallied points on each individual, when all their points are tallied from each category, will essentially be the winner. I don't really care about, the whole winning or losing aspect. I just care more on the sense of, the entirety of the enjoyment, the interaction, the mind games, and, just the interaction more than anything of, hey, you picked my character, or I was going to pick that character, because I was playing with my friends earlier today, and the dynamic of our picks was just changing sporadically. Like, you would have a Hunter pick, you would have a Naruto, someone would pick Hunter, the next person would pick Naruto, the next person would pick One Piece, and then someone will pick Dragon Ball Z, and everyone else in the room would be like, oh shit, I've been sleeping on Dragon Ball Z, and then everyone would pick a Dragon Ball Z character, putting back a pick that they were initially going to pick. So I really like the dynamic and how it's going to change, and how certain picks will cause other people to, force a pick on them when, it's like, oh shoot, I have to, sit back and really look at people's picks and think about who am I going to pick, who am I going to put on my roster. So it's a very thought process of type of game, you know what I mean? You have to actually think ahead of the game. You have to think 2-3 steps ahead, because if someone takes your pick and then it comes your turn, you really have to think on your feet. So I really do like why this works, and it really works in the sense of, being competitive, but more importantly, being very friendly, being friendly oriented, being engaging, and you can express yourself of, hey, I'm picking this character. This is going to be my number one pick because he's a boss, or he's my favorite character, this, that, and the other. So I really like that as well. There are obviously going to be some rules in effect. There are just a few that I mentioned, but if there's any loopholes that you guys can fill in with some rules, I'd really appreciate that. Number one, all characters that are chosen are going to be represented by their present time character. So, for example, if I were to choose Naruto, my Naruto will be expressed by his present day representation. So the manga Naruto will be the Naruto that is represented if I choose him on my team. Okay? Now, if a character that you chose is dead as of the present time, they will be passable to be used in the draft in their prime. So they're most fit and they're most, deadly, I guess you want to say, before their death. Henceforth, Neji. If I were to pick Neji, and Neji's no longer alive in the anime or the manga, it will give me Neji as a character before his death at his peak performance. So that's something that I really wanted to put in, because my friend likes Itachi. My other friend really likes Jiraiya. So a lot of dead characters of anime in general are going to be picked. So that's basically what you got to look forward to if a dead character is chosen. Like I already said, transportation and mascot picks are going to be exclusive picks when it comes to the anime universe. Like I said, if you pick the Nimbus Cloud from Dragon Ball Z, you can't pick a Dragon Ball Z character to add to your roster. And that's the example. I already gave a few examples of that. There's going to be a 2-minute pick time, so you have 2 minutes to choose a pick. And that's basically the rules for you in a nutshell. Anything else that you guys noticed that you guys can mention or add in, I'd really appreciate that. But getting a little bit more into the intricacies of the format, of the layout, of how I want this to go. 8 players is ideal for me, because we did play 8 players last night, and it worked off really well. It went off without a hitch. It was really awesome, really enjoyable. 8 to 10, if I end up doing this in a stream, 10 is the max, because that's how many people you can have in a call at once. However, if we are organized, if we act as if we function very well as a unit, and if things go smoothly, we can get this done. We can, an entire game can go by relatively quickly. From there, I do want to talk about a few people that I want to incorporate into this draft, because a lot of people in the anime community that I've met, I've talked to them. They've invited me to their streams. I've interacted with them on their channels, whether it be supporting their videos, giving them a like, shooting them a comment, talking to them on social networks like Facebook and Twitter. But in terms of anime, in terms of YouTube, those are the only ways that I've interacted with them. I haven't done a live stream where I actually host it and invite people into it. So this would probably be one of the first times, if this does work out and if people do agree to it, that this is going to be the first stream that I do where I invite people and we have an engaging interaction, and I can learn more about people, learn more about their likes and their dislikes of certain anime, especially when it comes to this game, and just be more acquainted and be more open-minded to them. And establish a better relationship. So some of the people that I do want to invite to this stream are well known in the community, at least around the community that I'm around. and those people are Speak123. You know, I know you don't do videos. I know you have a channel, but you know, you mainly watch other reviewers. I remember that live stream that we had, that I was in with you. We were talking about the Chimera Ant arc, and just the way that you talked about the anime, you seem very coherent, you seem very informed, and I just really think that you would bring a very good flow and a very good dynamic to this entire draft if you are interested in it. King Recon, dude, no question. King Recon, I need you in this. I already know I'm gonna have a blast with you in here, with your hype and your reactions to other people's picks and our reactions to your picks and your reactions to your own picks. So, Recon, I definitely would appreciate if you could show up. Northside Z, you're another dude that I really like to have in this stream. If you're interested in this draft, if you're interested in the whole dynamic of picking your own characters, I really enjoy your reviews and such, and I know you've shown me some love on my channel with my reviews and stuff like that. So I definitely would like to establish a better connection with you as a YouTuber, as a friend, and just have a good time. Charles's Anime World, one of the best ways that I can appreciate and thank you for inviting me to Squad 00 Universe on the Facebook fan page would be to invite you to this draft. I know you have a lot of things to say when it comes to manga and anime, One Piece, Bleach, Naruto, and especially Hunter x Hunter. So I'd really appreciate it if you could show up as well. Mecha Blade Z, Jose, dude, I feel like we're the most interactive out of everybody that I've mentioned so far. We talk on Facebook, we talk about Smash Bros, we talk about anime and stuff like that, and everything in between. So I'd really like it if you could show up as well. Zed Tazian, I know you've been a little off on your reviews and such, and you've been kicking it back, relaxing a bit, but if you are still on the community, if you're still around, I'd really like it if you could participate in this draft as well. I feel like just having you there and having everyone else that I've met in this community and I'm really fond and aware of would be just awesome, and I know you'd have some good picks as well. AnimeBlaze.com, dude, I had to pick you in this as well. You're one of my favorite reviewers as well, and I just really, I know you have your take on anime. I know your top favorite characters, so I already have an idea of what kind of characters you would want. But like I said, the dynamic, and I really know you'd bring a great variety of characters and some OP and some badass ones too. Listen to my reviews as well. I know we haven't really interacted that much. I've also talked to you a little bit in the streams and have heard your opinions on certain things when we're in a stream together. And I would also like to extend this invitation to you as well if you're interested in this whole draft. To come check it out and such. And that leaves one more space open for a maximum of 10 if maximum of 10 people are going to perform, if maximum of 10 people are going to show up. So if any of you guys who I mentioned or if any of you guys watching would like to participate, let me know, leave me a comment, shoot me a message, and all that, and I will arrange something. But the format for the picks is going to be Serpentine format, and for those of you who don't know, if you guys are aware of NFL drafts, the pick orders go from 1 to 8. In this case, 1 to 10 if we have 10 maximum. So the first round would be first pick picks, then second pick, then third, then fourth, all the way to 10. And then how Serpentine works is 1 through 10 goes in that order for the first round. And then when the second round starts, it reverses. So 10th pick goes first, 9th pick goes second, 8th pick goes third, etc., all the way to 1. So it'll be 1 to 10, then 10 to 1, then 1 to 10, then 10 to 1, and that's how it ends up going. So first picks will get first 2 picks on a specific round, and then last pick will get 2 picks consecutively on a specific round as well. For pick orders, I tried to find something as fair, as just, and as reliable as I could. And that led me to Hunter x Hunter, where I actually decided to take the Zodiacs into account, not in the sense of who's older or anything like that, but in the sense of the opening. So when the new Hunter x Hunter opening starts, it shows 3 different panels of the 12 Zodiac members, and it shows them in a particular order that I've written down here. So it shows in particular order Pariston Hill, who is the rat, and then it shows the bull, the tiger, the rabbit, the dragon, the snake, the horse, the sheep, the monkey, the chicken, the dog, and then the boar. The panda, which is supposed to be a substitute for the boar, who is Jing Freaks. So that's the order that it's going to go in. If your birth year, if your zodiac year pertains to Pariston Hill, the rat, then you are first pick. However, if two people or multiple people have the same zodiac birth year, it's going to go in order of priority of whoever's older. So whoever's older in that birth year will have first priority. So let's just say two people are in ties for the Chinese zodiac of the rat, which is first pick. Whoever's older will get first pick, and then it will go down to second pick for whoever's the youngest. So I feel like that's the fairest that I could do it that way. I'm not entirely sure if that is. Let me know if any of you guys come up with a better format, a better strategy of how we can do pick orders. Like I said, that's the best way I picked it, instead of, going through pick methods and getting everyone together and agreeing upon it and all that stuff. The Hunter x Hunter opening isn't biased at all, so I just worked around the Hunter opening. But ultimately, that's the draft. That's the intricacies. Those are the details of the pick, of the draft overall. If there's anything else you guys want me to inform you on, leave a comment. If you're confused on anything, I'll inform you on that. But ultimately, I will be relaying this video to the specific people that I have invited. If you guys want to check this out, if you guys want to relay this to your friends, I might do this as a stream idea if I get enough people to agree upon it. But that's all I've got for this video. Thank you guys for watching. I am tired. I am about to go to bed after this video is uploaded. But thank you guys very much for checking it out, and I will catch you guys in the near future, and hopefully we can get this stream going in a few weeks. So thanks a lot, guys, and I will catch you guys later. Take care.